Assalamu alaikum and a very good day. So in this video I would like to explain about the control structures, namely as a selection statement that generally used in a C or C++ programming. But for these videos I will shows the specifically on the C++ language. Okay, the learning outcome for this the lesson will be uh, the student will know how to use the flow control in single nested selection statement, and also knows the conditional expression that will be used, and know how to design the decisions and selection program structures, and maybe use it in the repetitive and looping program structures. But for these videos we only cover until the part 3, because uh, for the repetitive and looping program structures will be learned in the next sub chapter. Okay, so in terms of the flowchart design, so selection, the expression shape of block will be used for the selections is to flow to either to the subroutine for the statement 2 or subroutine to the statement 1. Is different to the repetitive, which is the expression shape block will be used for the looping. So these two have a different function for the different control structure codes. Okay, so for the conditional expressions, okay, for the conditional expression is generally in C or C++, they will use the relation operators and logic operators, which is relation operators that we use to give the condition of the switching statements that we want. Okay, so what is the condition to come out with certain output in the software. And for the case of boolean, it's always used to relate between the condition 1 to and condition 2, or to make some range of condition in the selection statement control structures. Okay, so in the decision and selection statements, if else and switch case is a general or the standard statements that will use as an instruction to provide the decision and selections program structures. So if else is actually is one in one family. So when we have a more than two option or more than two switching we want to make in our code, so we will use the if else. So if else allows a more option, more outputs, more alternative outputs for the codes. So for the case of switch case is actually in another family of the selection statement, which is, I can say that about 50% similar to the if else, but they have this switch case statement have some limited if compared to the if and if else, which is I will show after this in this the next lessons. Okay. Okay, let's go straight to the example. Okay, so let's say we have this database about the grade of in UMP systems, which is each of the grade have their own range of marks, and also indicates by certain pointers. So let's say we need to create a program for a student, so that the student will know what is the grade that he or she will get with the certain marks. So let's say we take only 4 grade from here. Let's say for this case we take until B. Okay, so then so our code will concentrate from for to give the output uh, from grade A to grade B. Okay, let's say we go straight to the code. Okay, I just make some recording here, the option that we want to concentrate for this example. And as usual, for the C++, you need this IOStream library. And we have integer main open and close for the main program, and the declaration part, the content, and using cin and cout for the display and for the input of the software, and the return 0 for the terminations. Okay, so let's say we want to program this condition by using the if else statements that I have explained previously. Okay, so let's say we make a uh, uh, for this case the student may put the quite numbers of with a pointer. So the secure here, we just use the double for the input from the user. Okay, and then another one is we put here we want to display the marks, and the pointer. Okay, sorry, we want to display the grade and the pointer. So so we need some comment to the user. So we make some statement here. Please insert your marks. Okay, please insert your marks, and /n for the enter and the end line. Okay, so here so we need to use the cin for the okay we want to use the cin for the input of the from the user. Okay, so we just put the input here. Okay, and then the if else will be here. Okay, so the input, if the input, because for the grade for the option A, for grade A, so we have a range of 80 to 100. Okay, we put the 80 less than 100, and input is bigger or equal to 80. Okay, you can make a sorry, and bigger too. Okay, something like this. Okay, or also you can make a bigger than less than 101, and bigger than 79. Okay, so you can include the 80 and the 100 as well. Okay, so if you put 80 and 100 is going the 80 and 100 going to be excluded for this grade. So the open parenthesis here, so for the software is already include the close part. Okay, so we just put the so the cout here. Okay, the cout here, your marks, so your grade is, so you can put the grade here. Okay, so let's say for the grade is A, and the pointers is 4, 0, 0. Okay, okay. So let's give it a try for this part. Okay, okay. Please insert your marks. Okay, so let's say you put 85, so it will display your grade is a point is okay. It's not good here. I'm sorry. Uh, okay. So your grade is A, and a pointer is 4. Okay. So let's say you put another mark that out of range. Let's say it's 65. So it is not going to display anything because in my code didn't include anything if a user put the mark is out of the range. Let's say we want to say something when the mark is out of the range. Okay, let's say we put the else here. Okay, so we can have we can say to something to the user that's your input is out of range, or you can say your input is wrong. Okay, so we try to make some makeup here with a slash tab here, and this one is just slash tab, and you want to put some bracket here or here. Okay, so makes more proper, and here we have a slash tab. Okay, or maybe you can just put just already tab here and compile. Okay, when you compile here, you can make your own grade here. Let's say we try to make out of range 12. Okay, your input is out of range. So it means that when user makes an input here, and then the computer try to process these selection statements, that the input is out of range because the range here is only between 100 and 80. So let's say for how we're going to make another options for the A minus, B plus, and B grade. Okay, we just put here some additional or nested if else here by putting the else and then if. Okay, for my case I like to copy this one for more fast coding. Okay, okay, don't forget to have a close parenthesis here. Okay, okay, don't make a near between else and if for the case of the nested if else, because when for this compiler, for example, the alphabet is not bold, so it's bold means that it's active like this. Okay, so we make some another range here. Okay, for 75 to 79, which is uh, less less than 80, and bigger than the 74. Okay, so it means between 75 and 79. So the display should be, I'm just copy because the the grade, we just changed the grade here is a minus, and the pointer is 3.67. Okay, so then for the next part we just copy this, okay, and then we put here another if else, which is for the B plus. So B plus we have at 70 to 74, which is less than 75 and bigger than the 69. Okay, then the student will get a B plus with the pointer of 3.33. Okay, so another one we can put for the B. Okay, for the B we just adjust this part. Okay, okay, so the else will be the next. So else if here, and oh, I'm sorry, this one, be careful for the parentheses. If not, the program is going to be crazy or the syntax will be error. So we can arrange like this properly. So for the last one is for the grade B. So for the grade B, the range is between the 65 and 69, so that it's going to be less than 70 and bigger than 64. Okay, so the student will get B for the pointer of 3. All right, so we try to compile this code. Okay, let's say the student make an input for the case of 65, so the student will get B for the pointer of 3. Or you can try again, the student will get the 70, sorry, the student get the 70, so your grade will be B plus. So display like this. Okay, so then if the student make it 40, so the input is out of range, because we just, in this situation we don't put all the grade database, the range of database, sorry, the database of the grade range in our codes. So you can continue my coding here by putting all the complete range of grade in the table, okay, to complete the software requirement. Okay, okay, we go to the switch case structures. Okay, so what's the difference between switch case structure and the if else statements that we have learned just now? So as you can see there, the, the expression will be in the bracket of switch, and the case will be the value, and the close for the options or the selection will be the break, not the parentheses like a if else. Okay, but for this case, it's quite difficult to make some option that or expressions or the value of the options that have some range, because the switch case is more logical, or I can say here is a more logical one-to-one options. Okay, uh, as you can see here, so that's the difference between the if else and switch case in terms of making a control structure program. Okay, so for this case we can make some similar to the switch, but for the case of just now, we with the range of the value, it's quite difficult to use a switch case break statements. Okay, all right, so okay, so now Another difference in the switch case structure is that we cannot make a variable in the case level. Okay, so for the case level here needs to have a pure value, not a variable that we define. Uh, like the statement here say that the variable y cannot be used in the case of label. Okay, so for the if else, we have no problem with it. Okay, we have no problem with it. That's the limitations of switch case uh, uh, switch case statements. Okay, so for the case of to check the range, also the weakness of the case level, because you cannot make some range using the switch case structures. Okay, all right. So let's say we have okay. Okay, we go straight to the examples. Let's say we have this complete coding that use if else. So how are we going to change this coding by using only switch case statements? Okay, so the first thing you need to change here is the on the selection part. Okay, so for this case, the variable is selections. Okay, this is the variable. Okay, this is the expression that we need to to put in the switch statement. Let's say we have switch. Okay, and then we put the selection here, and then we can open the parenthesis, no problem. Okay, so the case, first case. Okay, the first case is here for the switch case here is the one. Okay, and the case 2 is 2, case 3 is 3, case 4 is 4. Okay, let's say for the case 1, so the statement will be, I'm sorry, the statement will be this one. Okay, we just copy C out and we put the break here. Okay, so the next case, case 2, I like to copy case 2. Okay, we put the case 2 here, and then we copy for the case 2 statements here. Okay, and for the case 3, all right, we put the case 3 here, and we copy the case 3 statements here, and a case 4, sorry, case 4, okay, case 4, and we put the case 4 here. Okay, for the else, we need to change to the default. Okay, default, right? So default will be the last for the statement. For the else, we copy and put here, and we break. All right. So we delete these statements, or we just put a comment. Sorry. Okay, just comment here, and we just on this switch selection, and we try to compile. All right, so as you can see here, they still have an area of circles. This program is actually to which formula do you want to see. Okay, let's say I put 1, so the pi times radius square is the equation for the case 1. So the programs will run still same. Okay, it's the same as if else. I can show you here by comment this part. Sorry. The same thing happen when compile the system. Okay. Uh, okay, let's say we open for the if else here. Okay. As you can see here, the same effect. Let's say I put 1. So also the same results as a if else. So here we want to show that the switch case make the same situation as a if else for the case of the direct value condition or direct value statements. Okay, but not for the range and not for the variables and not for the equality statements inside for the expressions. Okay, so switch case, that's the limitation of the switch case. Okay, so uh, okay, all right. So I think that's all for the switch case example I can give you for these topics. You can explore more how to use properly between the if else and switch case by your own creativity. Uh, it's actually for the case of programming, we are less in reading the books or the notes. We are more doing learning by doing, which is more practice the coding, so you can experience. So when you experience the coding, so then a lot of knowledge will get. So the reading method is okay, but it's not practical for the this kind of subject. Okay, thank you very much. So see you again for the next topic. Thank you for your listening, and I hope you make some more coding and example for these topics for your own experience. Thank you.